Throp here again. As you're probably hearing, Jamaica is on an unprecedented economical tear, and I know many people are interested to learn how they might be able to buy property in Jamaica, move here, or even start a business. Enter ThropX. This is my annual Jamaica investment conference hosted at Travelers Beach Resort in Negril, Jamaica. If you're even considering moving to or investing in Jamaica, this is the best low-risk opportunity to do your due diligence and network with the very people driving the country forward. This event brings together a group of hand-picked, trusted, top-of-their-field individuals, the best developers, contractors, real estate pros, lenders, and government partners, all under one roof to help you make your move. This is very much an action-focused premium conference experience geared towards empowering you with the tools and team necessary to create your Jamaica dream. We've partnered with the Tax Administration of Jamaica to help you get your TRN and even open a bank account, all conveniently located on conference property. One of the most popular parts of the conference is the real estate tour. It's the best way to understand Jamaica's real estate market, seeing and experiencing properties firsthand so you can compare apples to apples. Another incredibly valuable part of the conference is the people you will meet. Attendees have been some of the most dynamic, inspiring individuals I have met doing incredible things with their lives. As always, this year will be fun, educational, and actionable, giving you the tools, insights, and connections to invest, build, and move to Jamaica. For more information, please visit thropx.com and join our mailing list. Welcome to our newly renovated standard rooms, and this is our standard veranda, our balcony, depending on if you're on the first floor or the second floor. It comes with 2 chairs and a table. And this is our double queen room. And as you can see, we have our standard herring artwork on the walls with an accent wall and the wooden bed heads, and each bed has a reading lamp, and those reading lamps have USB type A outlets plus a standard outlet on the wall for you to plug in any electronics that you may have. The rooms also come standard with a flat screen television as well as a desk, coffee maker / tea maker that you can use in the mornings if you'd like, and you also have coffee and tea available to you as well. And we also have a mini fridge for your convenience. Of course, we are AC room. This is the tropics, this is Jamaica, but we also have a ceiling fan for you available as well if you prefer, or you want to use both. And moving on to the bathroom area, I just wanted to point out that all of our standard room doors now are using electronic key cards, which we are very happy about, and just much more easier to use from a hotel logistics standpoint. Moving into the bathroom, this is probably one of our most proudest renovations. Moving into the shower area, we have the rainfall shower head as well as the handheld shower head. And the designer went into the details of putting the shower together with this color schemes, but also the practicality of it. And I just want to highlight some of those, and one of them being the shower drain as well as the shower heads, which you saw, which is all complementing each other. And of course, the shower amenities with the shelf for your convenience towards the back of the shower, and even where the shower faucet is, which is towards the back of the shower, which allows you to turn on the shower without getting wet. Moving on to the sink, it's also a black handle sink, which again just complements the design of the entire shower and bathroom, and it's all coordinated even with the room design. And as you can see, we have the towel hooks as well, which I really appreciate. And that, in a nutshell, is our newly renovated standard room. I hope you enjoyed it. All right. There we go. Try to get myself organized here as best as I can. Happy Monday, everybody. Sorry I missed you yesterday. I was in, well, if you came in my live stream on Thursday, you'd know I was in Treasure Beach for the weekend, which was very, very nice. Nice little family getaway, which I very much enjoyed. I hope you all had a great weekend. I know I did. And I'm happy to be kind of making up for it here on a Monday instead. I wish I made Sunday because we can't go as long on a Monday. It's just like been one of those days. And I was like, man, am I going to be able to do this stream today? But very happy that I'm able to be here. And as you can probably already tell from the title, We're going to be talking about Jamaica's finances and economy, specifically a recent credit rating upgrade from the S&P, Standard Poor's, and also the credit rating, and also a little bit about the bond market as well. And all I would say in, I guess, an aid in reflection of what Jamaica, the trajectory Jamaica has already been on, particularly with its fiscal discipline. And it's just been doing a phenomenal job. And by all measures, we are going to continue to move into this direction. And I think there are an incredible amount of positive implications that this is going to have on Jamaica's future, and also our future, as Jamaicans, as people who live here, as people who are considering living here, as people who are investing here, as people who have businesses here. And I just want to, I guess, discuss with you all, not just me speaking, just to kind of like appreciate the moment, and then also understand what this is going to mean for the future of Jamaica, especially with the credit rating increase, and also with the bond markets as well. So, of course, to get started, please let me know what city, what state, what country you are chiming in from. Always love to hear that. I will do a little bit of ThropX updates. I think pretty good, exciting news, I would think, from my point of view, which we'll talk about a little bit to, I guess, kind of get started and get warmed up here. I'm going to quickly go through the comments so we can get right into the subject at hand, because this one is going to be shorter. It's probably going to be around an hour, as opposed to our Sundays, which we are closer to 3 hours. But sometimes I jinx myself here saying an hour, and we don't stick to that at all. But we're going to try to stick to an hour here today. All right, let's get to the comments. What's going on, Justin? Thank you for being a channel member, the first channel member ever on this channel. Appreciate you. Justin says, renovations look real nice. Can't wait to see it in person. Thank you. Natalie Holmes says, hello, good evening from Houston, Texas. Jeff Rogerson, thank you for being a channel member. Really appreciate the support. Hey, Throp and everyone chiming in from Montreal. Awesome. Felix, good evening from Atlanta. CKR, good evening, chiming in from Atlanta. ATL in the building for sure. Brian, happy Monday. Hello, all. Hope Treasure Beach was nice for you. New Jersey, chiming in. Good to have you on. Weird Things Reacts, chiming in from Toronto. Lori's in Boston. Nice to have you, Samuel. Money Earning Manhattan. All right. I like that. Delroy from Brampton. Can't wait to get back to Negril. Awesome. Justin, Jets Dolphins play in an hour. I think we should have like a moratorium on Jets talk in this in this chat, and for the rest of the season. I don't know, we're probably the worst. I'm not even paying attention. Probably the worst team in the league right now. But Jeff Rogerson, you'll never keep it to 1 hour. Yeah, you're probably right. Mark chiming in from Brampton, Ontario, Canada. Jazzy Tower, howdy to all from Brooklyn. What's going on, Punty? Nice to have you chiming in from Markham, Canada. All right, so quickly, just want to talk about some quick ThropX stuff. First of all, I was in Treasure Beach, as I mentioned earlier, which was family getaway, but also it was to shoot some content and continue to make connections in Treasure Beach. For those that may not be aware, for ThropX this year, on the second day of our real estate tour, we're going to be going to Treasure Beach. And I announced on Thursday that our Platinum Real Estate sponsor this year is none other than Treasure Bay Estates, which is the newest real estate development on the South Coast, maybe in Jamaica, I'm not sure. But a lot of special things happening with that development, a lot of special things happening on that side of the country. And I am really, really excited to bring it to you all, especially those attending ThropX, but also just here on this channel, of course. I like to bring you as quickly and accurately as possible what is happening on the ground here in Jamaica, particularly in the real estate sector. And Treasure Beach is one of those locations and one of those places that is poised to do exceptionally well. And you're seeing the foundation. Well, the foundation has been there, but you're seeing the foundation of the next phase, if you will, the next era to come of Treasure Beach is already starting. And to St. Elizabeth as a whole, as mentioned before on this channel, the Prime Minister announced that the third city in Jamaica. There's Kingston, Montego Bay, will be in St. Elizabeth, and exciting stuff happening there. Just exciting stuff in Jamaica. I tend to continue to be very optimistic about Jamaica and very bullish on Jamaica because there are just so many things going in the right direction and so many things that are happening for Jamaica that I would in many respects, Jamaica has created this opportunity for itself and put itself in this position. And it's it's just it's bubbling up. It's bubbling up, right? And you just like fingers crossed we maintain regardless of your political ideology or which side you're on here. I think overall it's just good that Jamaica has continued to head in the same direction that we've been going in here, especially from a fiscal discipline standpoint. And I said this before, we have more or less been in a phase of austerity, and hopefully I would like to think and believe that we are now moving into the growth phase, and there has been a lot of sacrifice to maintain that fiscal discipline. And I also personally believe that it was extremely necessary to maintain that fiscal discipline in order to get ourselves out of that 158% debt to GDP ratio that we were suffering from, and also the debt servicing that we were going through for many years, almost in an impossible situation, almost very close to an impossible financial situation. And now you're starting to see the uh, the the seeds that have been planted, and you're starting to see the fruits of that labor, so to speak, in many ways and in many forms. And one of those forms that we're going to be speaking about today is the increase in the rating the credit rating that has been attributed to Jamaica by Standard and Poor's, which is very important on a multitude of levels. So we're going to be speaking about that. So that's kind of where Treasure Beach kind of falls into all of this. You got oil exploration happening as well on that side of the island. You got the third city. You got incredible interest happening in Treasure Beach itself. Third city in St. Elizabeth, Treasure Beach, which is in St. Elizabeth. You have this new development that's happening there. You know what? Let me see if I can just bring up the models here. So we're talking about Treasure Bay Estates. I don't think I'm only seeing MLS listings here. I want to actually show you some of the models that they have. And I'm kind of doing this a little prematurely, but maybe we can actually show their Instagram a little bit. My computer's going crazy. All right, let's show it. Yep, got it right here. Okay, cool. 1 second. All right, so this is Treasure Bay Estates. Let me get rid of that background. That's a little distracting there. Okay. This is Treasure Bay Estates. And I'll throw you guys can go take a look on your own. I'll throw the website in the comment section here. And these are some of the examples of the homes that you can choose, to be built for you. I don't want to start explaining it because I don't have like all of the intricate details, and I don't want to start people asking me questions that I don't have answers to. But these are the different types of homes that you can choose from. And the business model, I love this model. I love their model that they have. And uh two elements of the business model that I will put out there that I think is really incredible, especially as we talk about, as we've spoken many times in the last year about many failed slash stalled real estate developments in Jamaica, right? And I think, and if anybody has had this experience, you can probably relate to what I'm about to say. I think one of the most annoying aspects of buying into a new development is that when people or other homeowners or landowners are taking forever with their construction, right? And that you're for years on end, you're living next to or in the vicinity of an ongoing construction project, because people, and I understand this, we all understand this, people take their time when they're building their home. But the difference with this development is that once you make your down payment, you make the decision, hey, I'm buying this, you buy your lot, you have to start construction within 2 years and you have to finish within five, which I think is great. So you don't have, and we all seen this driving around Jamaica, where you go and come back to Jamaica and you see that same house in the same way, and very little to nothing has been advanced in the construction of that home. And you see 5 years go by, 10 years go by, 20 years go by, and little to nothing is done on that home. They've actually avoided that. All of this is contractually agreed to home purchasers. And so that fear that you may have, or that reality that some people are actually facing of constantly being and living around construction, that will no longer be there. That won't be the reality in this development, which I think is huge. Is huge. Um, let's see. I don't want, yeah, like I said, I know people are going to have questions and everything like that, but I'd say go and look at the website, go through it. This is the development itself. If anybody knows Great Bay, let me see. This is the, I'm going to show you. If anybody's familiar with Great Bay, it's like right down the beach. Right down the beach, right down the road from Treasure Beach. Let's see here if I can find it for you. I don't know why I'm trying to do this on myself. All right, so this is the Great Pond. Why am I trying to do this on my own? I feel like it's here. I kind of know Treasure Beach. Let me just type it in. Treasure Bay. Okay, got it. All right, Great Pond. Okay, this is where Treasure Bay. Oh, it's not coming up on the map here. But anyway, you drive down here, and then this brings you to I believe this is, yeah, Great Bay Beach. Gotcha. See, I kind of know what I'm talking about here. Great Bay Beach. This is it right here. So you're not too far from the beach either, and you get a view of the sea. And if you were chiming in on my live stream on Thursday, I was trying to make the point of just overall the beauty of Jamaica overall, but in particular, like with Treasure Beach, is like being on the. It's beautiful to be on the beach, obviously, if you're a beach person, but I think it's also in its own way equally beautiful and tranquil being in the mountains and having the view of the beach from up high. And so as you go up here, if you can see where my mouse is, you're actually moving up higher in elevation. So this is like the entrance. Sorry, I don't think I can zoom in. This is the entrance into the estate. And as you go up this road, so obviously a very, very straight road, you're literally going up the elevation here. The elevation continues to continues to climb here. And I believe this is the lookout point that I could be wrong. I feel like this is the lookout point that I was, and it's just like it's so beautiful, overlooking the that lake, the Great Pond. Excuse me, the Great Pond, and then after that you have the sea, which is also obviously very, very beautiful and captivating. So that's what I was up to this weekend. That's what I was up to this weekend, being over there in Treasure Beach, and being able to drive around. And it's my second time visiting Treasure Bay Estates, and there is, I went on a Sunday, so it was like nothing happening action wise, but I see great progress from the last time I was there, which is just a few weeks ago. Now they're putting in the sewage and water pipes. I saw them laying that down, and so things are happening. They're moving. High interest in that area, and rightfully so. And these units are very, let me see if we can click them. I've seen these in big diagrams while being in their office and everything like that. So really, really cool stuff, really exciting stuff. Excited for The proprietors there excited for everybody living in Treasure Beach as well. All right, let's see if we can get into the first article. Hold on, I want a better version of this. Um, okay, I guess we can do this one. Sorry, it's the same art, same information, but I was looking for a little bit more detail here. Okay, let's just go through this one. Oh, advertisement. Let's go through this one. This is from the Jamaica Observer Ratings Upgrade. This is written by Deshaun Hendricks, business content manager, and this came out the 26th of September. And it reads S&P Global Ratings upgraded Jamaica's sovereign credit rating to double B from double B minus double B on Thursday, citing a decade of exceptional fiscal discipline. But the accompanying analysis underscores the critical challenge the island now faces, spurring economic growth after conquering its debts. Right, I forgot. This is the Observer. The, the move from negative double B to double B signifies an important improvement in creditworthiness, indicating a lower expectation that Jamaica will default on its debt. Um, in S&P scale, both are non-investment grade, but double B is the highest rating within that speculative grade tier. The agency affirmed its B short-term rating, which is several notches lower and applies to debt obligations due within 1 year. Another upgrade would take Jamaica's credit rating score to double B plus, which is just one level below investment grade. The upgrade reflects a dramatic financial turnaround. Jamaica's debt to GDP ratio has plummeted from nearly 145% in 2013 to around 62% currently, quantifying the scale of its fiscal discipline. The agency assigned a positive outlook, signaling that another upgrade is possible within 18 months if fiscal progress continues. The positive outlook and reflects an at least 1 in 3 chance we could raise the rating if the government's interest burden falls and fiscal performance remains strong. The agency said in its report, the decision rewards a rare political consensus that has embedded debt reduction into national policy, yet also spotlights the paradox of world-class fiscal management coexisting with persistently anemic growth. The upgrade is rooted in what S&P described as a broad policy consensus that has become embedded in Jamaica's political culture. The cross-party support for fiscal responsibility has enabled the country to achieve a unique distinction. Yes, and we've talked about that before. That this would not be possible without both the JLP and PNP agreeing and working on this together, and it's worked out beautifully. The upgrade is rooted in what S&P calls what S&P described as a broad policy consensus that has become embedded in Jamaica's culture. I think I read that already. Jamaica is the only one of 141 sovereigns rated by the S&P Global Ratings that has achieved an annual primary fiscal surplus above 3% of GDP for the past 10 years. The report stated a feat achieved despite major hurricanes and the pandemic. This discipline is projected to drive net government debt below 50% of GDP this year, outperforming official targets. The rating agency's assessment also incorporated recent large financings, including US $480 million in senior secured notes issued by Kingston Airport Revenue Finance LLC in October 2024, and $400 million US dollars issued by Montego Bay Airport Revenue Finance Limited in July 2025. It concluded that these transactions do not weaken our government debt assessment. These factors, combined with strengthened institutions like the legally independent Bank of Jamaica, underpin the improvement in S&P's assessment. The country's proactive disaster risk framework, which includes a catastrophe bond and contingency funds, was credited with improving resilience after Hurricane Beryl. Despite these institutional gains, the report represents a sobering view of Jamaica's growth potential, identifying it as the key hurdle to further credit improvements. Nevertheless, growth remains constrained by high security costs, perceived corruption, low productivity, low business competitiveness, and vulnerability to external shocks, S&P said. The agency expects the economy to rebound to just 2% growth in 2025 before settling into a long-term average of 1 to 2%, a rate below that of sovereigns in the same GDP category. This creates a clear crossroads for policymakers: how to shift focus from austerity to expansion without undermining hard-won fiscal credibility. The positive outlook means a further upgrade is within reach. S&P said it could raise the rating if Jamaica's debt burden improves as its interest to revenues ratio decreases, but significantly added that it could also act if the economic growth rate improves and converges with that of peers. The report noted that the government's financing needs to be met through domestic borrowing and concessionary multilateral loans. It also assessed large airport financing deals as not weakening the debt profile, while vulnerabilities remain, including the high proportion of foreign currency debt. The upgrade confirms Jamaica has successfully exited its debt crisis. The positive outlook now sets the stage for the country's next act, proving it can translate fiscal stability into sustainable economic growth for its population. And to be honest, I think that is quite fair. And in a sense, the question of the year is that, can we move past this phase of austerity and move into a phase of growth? And there are so many things that are lining up in a great and positive way for Jamaica to take advantage of this moment and to be able to really, and I always think of like the average Jamaican is like changing the life, and the lifestyle, the quality of life for the average Jamaican. And can this be done in a short amount of time? And I don't think, and this is my personal opinion, if the cards are played right, this is not something that we're waiting to see in 2055 or something like that. To me, this is something that we should be able to see and feel within 5 to 7 years. Just because it took us, what would I say, 2016, let's call it 13, 14 years to get to this point, 13, 14 years of very strong fiscal discipline and sacrifices made by Jamaica and the Jamaican people. It doesn't mean it's going to take us another 13, 14, 20 years to really truly feel the benefits of what all this means. And now Jamaica is, as the article is saying, being put in a position that we could potentially move to investment grade, which is and would be amazing. And trust me, none of this is guaranteed. None of this is guaranteed. As the article states, that we are absolutely vulnerable to external shocks. I think I'll say two things. One, of course, is an act of God. If hurricane, earthquake, um, we are, I can't say we're probably in the best position that we've ever been to handle. I won't use the word absorb, but to handle a scenario of that nature. But nonetheless, it would be, especially like if we're talking about the most severe scenarios, we would not be in a great position to handle that. And it would be devastating. I'd also say a a global financial shock, and in some ways I would say, I can speak for the hospitality area sector, is that we're kind of feeling that in a way right now, and we felt it, I would say, throughout the summer. And that, in my opinion, in my perspective, is in direct relation to what is happening in the US, particularly with immigration policy. And I think that is affecting the hospitality industry, the hotel industry severely. Like, and we felt it very strongly over the summer. We definitely felt it in September. I mean, one of the worst Septembers that we've had on record. I'm speaking for travelers, and also I would say for other hotels that we've spoken to. And why that is, and that's again something that's out of our control. We had certain projections and we had certain expectations, but based on the information that we had, say, 6 months or a year ago, and We know this time is going to be slower than usual, September, October, tambourine season, as we all know. But however, it would have been hard to anticipate that, the president of the United States would be willing to kick out its own citizens, right? And then also be willing to kick out green card holders, etc. So the point is, and I'm not trying to get into American politics. I'm just trying to just draw the line of like how it affects business here. Is that there are probably many, many travelers, are I would even say past guests that we've had and past guests of Jamaica that have come here that may have been on, say, a green card, legal status in the United States, but because of what's happening in the news and happened to other people, they are afraid of flying and leaving the country. And so, and it was another hotelier that pointed this out to me that, hey, you may think that these guests who are coming to your hotel are American citizens, but lo and behold, they're green card holders, and they're not going to take that risk of going back through customs and say, "Sorry, we're going to have to send you back to your country of origin because of X, Y, Z." And so they want to obviously and understandably avoid that. So they'd rather, I'm not going to go to Jamaica for the next little bit, and they don't come here, and so that's a huge hit. That's a huge hit for a country that really depends on tourism dollars, and that also goes for Jamaican citizens who maybe they are not U.S. citizens, but again they have their green card, and they have legal status in the United States, but they're not coming back to Jamaica for the family reunion in July, or they're not coming back in September for whatever. So these sort of things really, really hurt our economy. And these, I would say, in a way, I would consider this an external shock that we don't necessarily have control over, nor could we have anticipated this. Look what happened with the H-1B visas, right? And I think, what was that? Was it Friday or last week? I can't even remember. But it was just like at a moment's notice, they company said, if you're do not leave the United States, and I don't mean to laugh, but it's just like such a crazy scenario. Like, do not leave the United States if you're on this visa, because you may not be allowed back in, or we don't want to pay this $100,000 for you to have this visa. And so these sort of things that we can't control, they could have various shocks to our economic and financial systems here in Jamaica. And hopefully, again, that we continue to maintain our fiscal discipline, but at the same time, we want to do things like attract foreign direct investment. We want to do things and put things in place to increase, encourage, incentivize growth. Especially, again, if there is I think they said 1 in 3 chance, 33% chance that we could be moving to in closer, one step closer and one step under investment grade. And we are going to be looked upon by the rest of the world in a very, very different manner. Very, very different manner. This is going to give us access to so much more financing. This is going to give us access to so much more cheap financing as well, that hopefully that we'll have access to this. And then, obviously, in a responsible way, we don't want to put ourselves back into the situation that we were before, but getting access to this financing from a government standpoint, to put more money into our infrastructure and to incentivize growth at a quicker and faster pace, that would be crazy. I mean, imagine by 2025, say 2027, 2028, that we actually move into investment grade territory. I mean, this is going to really start attracting some of the biggest and best I would think this is my presumption, biggest and best companies in the world to Jamaica, and to possibly investing here and just moving us along this journey just a little bit quicker, and just like injecting a little bit of jet fuel into the trajectory that we're already on. And so I guess the speculative side, the positive side, that wasn't really got explored in the article, let's say. And I understand this is a finance article. These are finance people in the S&P, and they're just going off of historical data and also what the evidence is presenting itself, how the evidence is presenting itself, and they're going off of that. they didn't talk about logistics hub. They didn't talk about the airports, even though they talked about the airport investments. Um, they didn't talk about the possibility of oil. And it's like any one of these things that takes off, it could just be that's the spark that lets us fly. But I get it. It's not something that we can necessarily talk about and not something that we can necessarily anticipate and look forward to because it's not guaranteed. Just like none of this is guaranteed. And it's something that we have to continue to maintain and continue to just really, really be steadfast with more than anything else. But I think without question, we can say that this is huge news, huge news. And it's just another testament to how far we have come and then also where we are going. And that's why I was saying before, it's like, I think no matter what, it's just like a good thing. And even from an international perspective, that we have maintained the same leadership at this point in time because it's rightfully or wrongfully, however you want to look at it politically, like the current administration is getting the credit for what is happening. And so that also gives confidence in other governments, multinational companies saying like, oh, this is the political party that is leading this turnaround and this leading this country into a direction and into the possibility of all things being equal into an era of Jamaica becoming investment grade. And I don't know off the top of my head if we've ever been investment grade in the history of Jamaica's independence. Quite possibly, I'm not sure, but not in my lifetime. So, and my lifetime here in Jamaica at least. And so now that we are moving into this direction, it's great. And it's also, I think that we're doing it in tandem with the crime rate going down at an incredibly fast rate. And just my hope is that we continue to do so. But as the article says, we are spending a disproportionate amount of money on crime, and I have no issue with that. I take no issue with that. We need to continue to do that so we can move safely and become a as the prime minister said in an interview that I did with him, he says we want to be below the regional average of in terms of the murders per 100,000. I forget what the statistic is called, but that's the goal, and we want to make Jamaica as safe as possible. And I think doing that in tandem with the fiscal discipline and becoming investment grade, which I truly believe that we are going to become an investment grade country, man, sky's the limit. Sky's the limit in so many ways, and I'm really excited for it all. I want to go back to the article, bring one more thing up. Excuse me. I want to bring up on the more positive side. Man, I'm missing it. I guess the airports I think is important. They put out these notes of 480 million and 400 million for Kingston and Montego Bay airports respectively. And the way I see it is that like Jamaica in a way is really preparing and positioning itself for the future in a regional capacity. I think we're doing a very, very smart and good thing about understanding airlift versus as a ratio to rooms that are being built, right? And that's was spoken about at JPEX last week, which is the Jamaica Product Exchange, which is Jamaica's main tourism expo, that annual expo that they do at the Montego Bay Convention Center. So if you can imagine, this expo invites travel agents and travel partners from all around the world, all around the globe to come to Jamaica to see the products that we have to offer. That's hospitality, hotel products, transportation products, different excursions that we have to offer, experience our culture. And every year we participate, Travelers Beach Resort. We had a booth there and we met with our agents and with travel agents, but also our travel partners. And so at this conference, you have with having all these industry and regional regional players in hospitality and tourism, you had a lot of announcements and a lot of press engagement. And one of them was speaking about with some a representative from the airports authority. I forget their name and also the position, but they were just saying and explaining the anticipation of. I think we actually read the article, as a matter of fact. I think that's why it's so clear in my head. But is the anticipation of the tens of thousands of rooms that are being currently built over the next 5 years, let's say 5 to 15 years, and in our current status in these airports, Montego Bay and Kingston, we will become unable to handle that capacity. And then this is kind of where also the Negril International Airport plays an integral role because of all these rooms and the interest that is coming to Jamaica. So I just wanted to emphasize that here here in the article. Let's get the comments real quick, and then we can get back to it. All right, Sophia, greetings to you as well. Chiming in from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Awesome. Chris is chiming in from Mattapan, Boston. Good to see you. Alfonso, what's going on? Gary from Brooklyn says, I'm so proud of my country, as you should be. Justin says, I flew to Texas last week. I've never seen the lines at U.S. Customs so empty. Nobody's trying to travel there right now. Oh, boy. Metro Atlanta Real Estate and Mortgage Insights. Blessed Monday, Thropping Throppers from Atlanta. Good to see you, Simone. Justin says, when the money spreads, the crime rate goes down. Nothing complicated about it. Right about that. And the walls of civilization. Eddie, what's going on? Thropping in from Dallas. All right, cool. We caught up. Oh, you know what? I also wanted to talk about I think this goes hand in hand. I want to see if I could find it on my Instagram. I just want to talk a little bit about the Jamaica bond market. No, it's not going to come up, man. All right, let me see if I can find the article. We might have to skip this. I think we're gonna have to skip it for and save it for Sunday. Yeah, it's so good. Jamaica, what's going on? Chiming in from London town. Awesome. We're gonna save that. We're gonna save that talk for Sunday, which is the bond market in conjunction with Jamaica moving towards investment grade. And I hope, and I look at Negril, for example, right? And what would I say? I have great anticipation that we as a community, Negro community, at some point, we will be feeling the this positiveness that's happening, the fiscal economic positiveness. But right now, I was talking about this on Thursday and Sunday, and hate to keep rehashing it, but I think it's important to talk about it. And we just have so many unfinished projects here. And man, I hope this stuff starts coming in hot and heavy, really, really soon, with the airport, the urban center, the Negril Beach Park, the roads fixed. We got a lot going on here, and it's important that this stuff is being taken seriously and made a priority, because we obviously don't want, obviously I have a very strong vested interest here in the grill, but we don't want things to go flat. We don't want we don't want to get left behind. And we are, as I always say, like, we're competing internationally here. And in a real way. And I was talking to a bunch of stakeholders over this last week, and there seems to be, and I don't want to make this into like the sky is falling. And I think some people have this mentality, but also at the same time, the concerns are actually very, very real, about things happening or the neglect that Negril is feeling. But I don't necessarily feel like it's like the end of the world, like far from it, far from it. But it's one of those things that we need attention, and it does need attention. And I think the people of Negril, and the reason why I bring this up, because it's like it's one of the biggest speaking points in Negril groups, Negril business circles, Negril WhatsApp chat groups. Like this is like the number one thing being spoken about in Negril right now is just why are we continuously getting left behind? And I think it's a combination of that actually being the reality, that actually being the reality of Negril continuously getting left behind, Negril continuously having these projects that stay dormant and are even to this day are incomplete. But then also it's in combination with having a really terrible, horrible summer and September. And so there's an element of like, yes, this is the reality, but it's also like my opinion is like, all right, let's temper this a little bit, but also seize the moment and seize the podium in a sense of just like, man, this is one of the best times to speak about this, and it's something that we always spoke about on this channel, and it's embarrassingly talk about just how dirty the town is and how just it's kept really, really poorly, unfortunately, on a regular basis, and how the private sector is the one driving the progress of the town and of the community. And it shouldn't be that way, and at least not for this long, not for this long. And so that's kind of like one of the main things that is being spoken about. And I continue to speak with different stakeholders, and we're gonna have and I don't know if I'm jumping the gun here, but I think it's important that we have these discussions. And I'm actually speaking with a few stakeholders, and we're gonna try to get a roundtable together very soon, very soon. And it's gonna be a live stream that we're gonna do here on this channel. It'll give you all this community at least an opportunity to not just only hear from me, but to also hear from other stakeholders in the community as to what has been happening here and why we feel this way and what the reality is, from a multitude of different perspectives. And then with that, I think it's also and then maybe this is where like I'm one of my weaknesses is like really understanding the history as to why we continuously find ourselves here, and why we continue to be left out and left on the sidelines. And it's like I am the last person to play victim, and I actually even hate like that's kind of why the hesitation in my voice is there, because it sounds like I'm the victim and being the victim. And I hate being in a position like that. And I hate even having to communicate from that position. But I don't mean to fly the flag of victimhood. I mean really to bring attention to the lived reality of this community more than anything else. And that's why I don't want it just coming from me. I want you all to hear it from credible voices who have done business here, who have lived here for decades and decades longer than I have, to really understand what's going on here. And even with this lived reality, and I was talking to my brothers just before I got into this live stream about this very same thing, is that people still see the potential in Negril, because it really is one of these incredibly special places with a setup, layout, topography, foundation, whatever you want to call it, unlike any other place in the world. And it just needs to be taken care of, and its potential needs to be honed, and it needs resources to go into it. And I know last time in the last few streams, people have been saying, but you're getting this, but you're getting that. Yes, I agree. And I believe that we are. I believe that we're going to get an urban center. I believe that we're going to get a Negril International Airport. I believe that our beach park is going to be completed. I believe that our roundabout is going to be completed. I believe that our road is going to be resurfaced at some point in time. I believe the shared user path
will be completed and go from downtown all the way up to the second Ryu. I do believe these things. But where the frustration and question lies is in the track record of what has happened in the past. And to me, I was going to say the most quintessential example is the beach park, but there's so many quintessential examples. Like the roundabout, they started refurbishing it or whatever it is that they were doing. Let's call it 3 or 4 months ago, in the beginning of the summer or before the summer. And this was supposed to be like a quick thing. Like it was supposed to be done already, in and out, repainted, this, that. They had the plans. And 4 months later, we're still here. It's such an unsightly scene. And it's just so embarrassing that this is done. And then same thing with the fruit and vegetable market. They start on it and it's just there, nothing happening. The beach park shut down 7 years or whatever it is at this point. And so again, I understand people's frustrations in these groups, and it's just the airport, the urban center. I'm not going to say it's empty talk, but it's just like we'll see it when we believe it, because you still have all these other projects that haven't been completed, and we were told they would be completed by XYZ timeline, and it hasn't been. And so again, this is where the I guess the negative vibe of this whole situation comes in, and this is why I want to kind of have a discussion with a bunch of people on here, stakeholders here on the podcast, and we're gonna probably do that in the next few days. I'm trying to organize this as quick as possible. If I could have done it today, I would have done it today. But we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna make it happen. And I think it's just important to let these voices be heard. And then also, again, like I said, probably one of my weakest points is like understanding the history of like how the heck we got here and why do we continue to stay here. Let's get to some comments real quick. All right. Harry Senker, what's up, Harry? Sir, thanks for this live. You talk for the people of Negril. Respect. Thank you. Appreciate that. Nicola, hello, Throp and Throp is chiming in from Dallas. Good to see you, Fitzroy. Yes, the town is dirty, especially the empty lots along the beach. And you know what's like so like such like a paradox in a way is like the I know of so many acquisition deals that have happened in the last year. Commercial properties, land on the beach road, and it's just it still continues to move forward, the grill, that is. And people still vehemently believe in the grill, and they see the potential. And even so many of you Throppers, so many Thropexers who come here, they see it and I want a piece. How do I get a piece? How do I get a piece of this beach? How do I get a piece of the cliff? And people are investing. Like it's so crazy. As much as I'm complaining here and saying, yo, how has nothing changed in the 19 years that I've been here, that Negril has, by definition, really has stayed the same, from an infrastructure standpoint. It's unbelievable. And people still coming. There's groups of people still buying hotels. I mean, we got some stuff for Thropex coming up, along those lines as well. And I know people are going to buy into it. And the people who have bought into Negril, I would say from my perspective, since I started doing this and promoting Negril I would say in the accurate way that it should be promoted, as a good investment, people are very happy with their investments. Very, very happy with their investments. Also, like, it's such a paradox too, is that the value of land in Negril, and this is true of all Jamaica, is that it continues to go up like astronomically. Astronomically. Like, it really does go up so fast. I look at the Coral Seas acquisition, right? That happened at Thropex, 2 years ago now. And a group of folks came to my investment conference. We visited on my real estate tour. We visited Coral Seas, now called the West.
Sorry, I lost power there. We're back. We're back. Sorry about that. All right. So I was talking about the Coral Seas deal, right? So I was talking about these folks getting together, purchasing these. Hold on, let me make sure you guys can hear me. I was talking about Coral Seas and these folks purchasing this hotel, and the valuation of their properties is going up exponentially. I could tell with one of them that I spoke with of these apartments that was purchased. They bought it for like 160 all in. When we're talking about less than 2 years later, it jumped up to 330, I think 330 or 340,000. And these this is like so regular. It's like so regular that happens here, that property valuations are just like doubling so quickly. And I don't know if this is going to continue to happen. I have no idea. I have no clue. Who knows if this is going to continue to happen? But everything that I've seen in real estate in Negril, it just continues to go up and up and up and up. And the point is that people who, despite everything that I've just said about where Negril has been and continues to stay, like we're in this time capsule, like a 20-year time capsule, from an infrastructure standpoint. But on the private sector, again, there continues to be this forward movement, very strong forward movement of people just wanting to get a piece. And Anthropics, for those folks who are coming, you're gonna see like I won't say new properties that are now available. And like these properties are gonna get scooped up. They're gonna get scooped up. And speaking to different realtors, like they're still selling real estate in Negril. And I think there is a belief. I think the danger of this, right? Again, this is going back to the discussion I was having with my brothers, is that Negril has a very strong core of people, right? That love Negril. And maybe I've never spent enough time in another place to feel and experience this, but I can say that I've never been to a place where so many people not from that place have fallen so deeply in love with that place, right? And they come back year after year after year like clockwork. And on top of that, now many of them, especially those in the boomer phase and Generation X phase, they are now like they're trying to live here. And this goes for both Jamaicans and non-Jamaicans. And they're looking for opportunity to start a business, to buy a condo, to buy a home, to buy land, to build a house. And this is very much their home, and they feel themselves more than anywhere else in the world here in Negril. And the concern, I would say, is that is that same feeling, is that same feeling being felt by Gen X, baby boomer generation, maybe millennials, I don't know. Is that same feeling being created, or at least the opportunity for that feeling being created for the Gen Z and for the younger generation? And the people and the base that we have, I think a lot of them who they've been coming here for a long, long time, right? 20 years, 30 years, however long. And Negril was I don't know how we got to this Negril. I'm just thinking about this. Like this must be like about Jamaica's Jamaica's credit rating going up and its fiscal economic responsibility. And here I am talking about Negril. Anyway, we're here. We're going to keep going. This wasn't planned, I promise you. And so the concern is like, are we doing things that is going to attract this and make people of the younger generation be as attracted than the older generation, let's say? And there was a lot to be attracted to, especially back in the day. And
Negril is right now, like, I don't think people can, it's hard to argue that Negril is like not in a valley. We're not in a peak right now. We're in a valley. And I think there's a lot of evidence to show that in many respects, Negril was doing better before. I think nightlife is one of those main examples, right? And I'm not to say, like, I want to also emphasize, and I know I said this before, but I know people are coming in and out. I want to make this very clear. There are so much positive things about Negril right now. One of the main things is crime. Way down. Negril is a safer place than I would say 10 years ago. Like, no question about that. Have to say that. Very, very important. I'd also say another great thing about Negril, and this could be true of in the entirety of Jamaica, is the reliability of electricity from JPS. It's the best it's ever been in the lifetime that I have been in coming to Jamaica, and the lifetime that I've been coming to Negril, and the lifetime that I've called Negril my home. There has never been a period in that history that I can say that JPS has been so reliable. Huge. I can't tell you how big of, even though the power just went out for whatever reason, they have done an exceptional job in improving exceptionally. I'll also say phone service as well has increased and is so much better. If you ever remember when it was only cable and wireless back in the day, and we didn't have Digicel and at one point Claro, those were the worst times to be doing business in Jamaica and to be reliant on these services. So that's my caveat to what I'm saying here. So all that aside, when we think to Negril being a better place in terms of being peak wise, I look to entertainment in Negril. And right now, you probably have two main days of nighttime entertainment in Negril, where back in my day you had 7 days. Like, any night of the week you can go out and you can have a great time there. These places are packed out: the Alfreds, the Bus, Margaritaville, the Jungle. I'm sure I'm missing a few. Bourbon Beach. These places were packed with people. And now nightlife has gone down, unfortunately. There's very, very few places that you can go to where you just have that impact. And I'm not saying that we don't have entertainment. It's there, but it's just not what it used to be. We don't have the artists and the performers that we used to have at these places, and a lot of them are still around, but they've gotten older and they're just not as vibrant as they used to be. And a lot of them have moved on. A lot of them have gone to the United States. A lot of them have gone to Kingston, and they're no longer. A lot of them go on the cruise ships, no longer performing here. And we have a lot of incredibly talented musicians, from instruments to vocals, you name it. Super talented individuals, but we just haven't been doing a good job of fostering that talent. And Jamaica is guilty of this in so many ways, not just in the music side, but even on the athletic side, which we don't even got to go down that route. But nonetheless, you get and understand my point. And I would like to think that better days are ahead of us, because with all the positive things happening in Jamaica, and particularly on the financial discipline side, that benefit has to come this way at some point in time, right? We do have to capture that younger generation, because they're going to other places. They're getting more value for their money in other places, generally speaking. And I said this before, Jamaica in general is an expensive place, and we need to make it, at least a portion of the market, more affordable for younger people to come here. I think it's so important to get kids to come here. Just like when I did, my age, when I was in college age, I should say, and I could barely go places. you want kids that are just like saving up just enough money to be able to come to Jamaica, experience it, go to the beach, go to the mountains, experience the rivers, make connections, and fall in love with Jamaica and fall in love with Negril. But if they can't even get to the point where no matter how much money they scrape together, they still can't afford to come here, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And then on top of that, if they are able to do that, right? And they do come here and they're like, man, I'm paying all this money for dirty Negril. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't equate, And I said this before, it's like those young 22-year-olds, those young people that are recent college grads or maybe no college grads, like they're going to become business owners, they're going to become doctors, they're going to become lawyers. Eventually, they're going to have money and they are going to be the most financially and economically impactful generation that is on earth. And if we don't capture them now at an early stage while they're young, it's going to be so much harder to acquire them as future customers when they do have that money, right? So long point, I know, and this is not even the topic that we're supposed to be talking about. Anyway, let's go back to the comments here. Try and get them all in. Delroy, do you know why the fruit and vegetable market is not built as yet? Most people would sum it up in one word, and that word would be politics. But no, I don't. I don't. I don't. I don't. I mean, I can't think of. From what I understand, the money's there. The money is there. That's everything. All indication tells me the money is there. I don't know of a possible excuse as to why it hasn't been done. The same thing with the beach park downtown. Like it's closed. Like why did you close it? Why did you close it 7 years ago? And you essentially had no plan. I don't know. Maybe you did have a plan, but you haven't done anything with it in 7 years. At least open it so people can use it. But it's closed. I wish I had the answer to that question. Jeff, thank you so much for the donation. I really, really appreciate you, man. Let's keep the lights on. Yes, please. It helps. It helps. It helps keep the lights on. We don't want that. We want to be getting shut down here, right? Oh man, funny stuff. Thank you. Mr. Info says frozen like some of the projects in the grill. Yeah, you ain't lying. You ain't lying. All right. Let's keep going here. Nicola says, the thing that is funny to me is we always say Jamaicans are clean. If we are so clean, why can't the streets be cleaner? Aren't our clean houses sitting in the dirty environment? Like, so this is like one of my passions, right? And so if I could change one thing, and I don't know if this would be a policy change or this would be a curriculum change, but more than likely curriculum in school, but it would be to have a focus in curriculum, not just in one grade, but throughout school, but a focus on the environment and keeping your environment clean. And I remember, I mean, being in pre-K all the way through high school is the preaching in school, in class, in assemblies, in having special speakers come to school, talking about the environment and the importance of not littering. And it's completely embedded in me as a human being, as a person, as a man. You will never, under no circumstance, see me even throw as much of a chewing gum wrapper on the ground, let alone a bottle being flung out or even a KFC bag being flung out of the back of a taxi, which is so normal here. You see it all the time. And it's ignorance. It's complete ignorance. That's what it comes down to. It's complete ignorance. And it's a human thing. It's a human thing. We see this in many other countries around the world. And if there isn't a campaign, an ongoing, relentless campaign to educate the populace, especially the children, continuous, and you can call it brainwashing. I don't care if that's what it takes. Brainwash the kids into understanding how important that their environment is and how important it is for them to take full responsibility to keep their environment and their communities clean, and not to throw trash on the ground outside of a bus, outside its taxi. That's the problem. That's a big, big, big problem. Big, huge problem. And so I think by implementing and putting that as part of the curriculum, I think it would do wonders. You know, if every kid and every grade understands it, and then you hold each other accountable. If one of my friends saw me just take a Gatorade bottle, I don't care what country we're in, and they just saw me throw it in the street, I would be socially shamed for that. It'd be like, "Yeah, what are you doing, bro? Like, you can't do that. You can't do that. You have to have more respect for your environment." And so there becomes this self accountability amongst social circles and amongst peers. That doesn't exist in Jamaica. Sorry, it doesn't. Like, nobody's going to bat an eye seeing somebody throw a bag of garbage outside of a window on a highway or on the street or on the beach for that matter. So that to me is my answer to that. It's just culturally acceptable. Justin says, young generation can't even afford rent, so purchasing property is a dream at best. Pro Gamer Dude says, sweet, sweet Jamaica, nowhere sweet like Yard, or believe it. TDC Consultants. My only concern with developing certain areas is that it doesn't lose its charm through gentrification as a result of over-tourism and overexposure. Totally agree. Totally agree. My thing is it's like, do something. Because there's nothing that has been done here. Like, do something to improve or maintain what we have here in Negril. There's just nothing being done. That's my whole point. There's nothing, and I'm always ready to be corrected. I'm always ready to be shown an example as to something that has been done. Nobody has been able to do that at this point in time. At least nobody has done it for me. And I'm open to learning. I'm open to being enlightened. But from where I stand, that doesn't exist here. Chris DDS says the entertainment vibe and buzz has to grow organically from the ground up from local people. Nightclubs are expensive and locals would rather do a street party. Fair enough. Donna J says, shout out from Staten Island. So looking forward to making Jamaica home. Yes, you do a great job promoting Negril. Thank you very much, Donna. Georgina Jarrett, what's going on? Hi, Throp, late to the show. Why do you think it's like that in Negril? I mean, I think that's part of that'll be part of the discussion that I'm going to be having, that the roundtable discussion that I'm trying to organize relatively soon, is to find out why that is. I don't understand it. I don't. I think an element of it for sure, is that we are just taken for granted, and it's this beach. I'll tell you that it's this beach. We don't do anything. The government doesn't do anything, not a thing, and that beach continues to be rated top 10, top 20 beaches in the world, year after year after year. And it's just like, okay, keep winning these awards, keep winning these recognitions. Why do we need to do anything? So I think there's an element of that. I think there is an element of expectation that certain properties are going to continue to invest in their product no matter what, right? And that we will continue to do this even in spite of having this uphill battle which doesn't necessarily have to be that way, that we're going to continue to invest in our products, continue to invest in the service within these products, and continue to show people who visit the island, visit the country, a wonderful and great time, and have accommodations that complement the service and the Jamaican hospitality, right? That we as private sector business owners invest in heavily, right? And because of that, people keep coming back to Jamaica. People, like I made my point in case earlier, people keep coming back to Negril, keep falling in love with Negril. But it's getting to the point where
You can only do so much and no more, right? And man, help would be nice. Help would be very, 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 very nice. But it's for those, I actually won't even go down that path. Go down that path. But my point is, I think a big part of that reason is just completely being taken advantage of. We do pull in, and I continue to say this, I think between 24 and 26% of the tourism dollars to the entirety of Jamaica comes from Negril, with absolutely nothing coming in. Imagine you have a company and a quarter of your revenue is coming from this thing that exists that you don't even really have to pay attention to. And you just have to focus on the other 75% or invest in the other 75% of your company. And that's a load off you, you're just like, whatever, and I think I'm being, don't take what I'm saying literally, but I'm being a little facetious, but that is the reality. That's the proven by the evidence being of the evidence of what we live through. Quantity says Treasure Bay Estates, are they building just a concrete shell, decor ready, no kitchen, no landscape, hardscape, no thermal energy, calcs with inefficient split units, cooling or convection oven? Yeah, see, that's why I don't want to bring it up, because I don't have the answer to this. I don't know. I don't have the answer to this. We're going to be doing and divulging much more information as the days and weeks go by on Treasure Bay Estates. But I put the website there. Please feel free to reach out to them. I'm sure they would love to hear from you and love to answer your questions. I don't have those answers. TDC Consultants says balanced development would be prudent. A festival at least twice a year, but businesses and attractions, that complement that said festival. Establishing something never an issue, but sustaining is where we should place strategies. Agreed. Chris DDS, an open air entertainment area park is needed with free entertainment supported by locals, businesses who can market their services. Locals would have a place to hang out, build from there. I think that's a great suggestion. We need more community spaces and community events. The Hood says, what are your thoughts on the state of the freeway after the previous PM-driven efforts to improve? I saw little or no improvement when I was driving to Negril today. That's terrible. I don't know where you're coming from, but the road to Negril from Montego Bay is horrendous. There's no question about that. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. Can't wait for the highway. That's probably 10 years down the road. Like when I say 10 years down the road, with a highway being completed from Negril to Montego Bay. I mean, let's be realistic. At best. Quantities, thank you so much for your donation there. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all these donations. Thank you all so much. Georgina Jarrett, I will be in Negril for Christmas and listening to you, everything you just shared. Both my 18-year-old are going to be bored really quick. I hope the beach of travelers will be enough entertainment. You'll find things to do, especially Christmas. It's a lovely time. I think it's great. Negril is a great place to relax. It really, really is. I think two, it's a bunch of these undervalued elements of Negril, but I think one of them is waking up early before the sun rises and going for a walk on the beach. I think that is just right before the sun comes up. I think that is one of the greatest things about Negril, is being able to do that. I've done that many of times, just grabbing a cup of coffee and going for a walk on the beach and having the sun rise. I mean, one of my favorite things about Negril. And of course, we get the best sunsets in the world, but we know that I'm just putting that on the shelf for right now. I think another great, incredible element of Negril is, and we don't talk about this enough, we don't emphasize this enough, is the ability to traverse Negril without getting into a car or a bike or any sort of motorized vehicle. You can walk. I think, and I'm ready to argue this with anybody,
Negril is the most walkable place in Jamaica, hands down. Most walkable place in Jamaica. You got the entire beach that you can walk on. You got the shared user path across the street. If you want, you can walk. I don't recommend this, but people walk on the soft shoulder and one walking downtown. Even the West End, as narrow as it is, people do a lot of walking. I have guessed, it's been a while actually, they just got a lot old. This is what I was talking about, people aging up, right? We had these guests that been coming in travelers for 20 years, and every year they used to do a pub crawl from Travelers to Rick's Cafe. Let me show you how far this is. And then they would take a taxi back. Let me bring it up on my... There we go. All right, so this is Negril, 7 Mile Beach here. And we're going to move... All right, so this is Travelers here. And then they used to walk from Travelers here. And they used to walk all the way downtown. This is a roundabout. And they're stopping along at different bars along their way. And roundabout, and then they walk the West End. So this is West End Road right here. And walking. I don't know how many miles this is, but this is West End. This is just following the coastline, going from bar to bar to bar, bar to restaurant, eat, walking, past Rock House, past SOV, past the Roundhouse. I don't even know what that is. Negril Huts, past Tensing Pen, and then end up here at Rick's Cafe, and then they take a taxi back. And they used to do it every year. The most walkable town in Jamaica, I'm telling you. And it's such a huge advantage. And it's one of those things, like I always say, like you can find your own lane relatively quickly in Negril. And you don't need anybody. You're not dependent on anybody. You're not dependent like Montego Bay. Like you have to call, unless you're staying at an all-inclusive and you're not going anywhere. But anytime you want to go anywhere, you want to go to a restaurant, you got to call a taxi. You got to hop in a taxi. You want to go to a club, you got to get in a taxi. Negril, you can walk. Like I've done it many times. Before I used to live, got my own place. I used to walk to the jungle and walk back from the jungle, and I didn't have to get in a taxi if you want to do that. You can walk to Alfred's. You can walk to Bourbon Beach. You can walk to Risky Business. Oh, that's way back in the day. But you can walk to all these places and walk back. And you don't need to hop in a taxi. You don't need to hop in a car. And same thing during the day. If you want to go to visit this bar or that bar, you can walk up and down. Your friends are staying at different hotels. You can walk and meet each other. I think that's one of the greatest advantages of being in Negril and of staying on the 7 Mile or staying on the West End is the walkability. TDC consultant says, I think it's either in Japan or China, the students, even grade 1, clean up after themselves, fostering a sense of autonomy, responsibility, accountability when it comes to environment and cleanliness. Yes, that is definitely Japan. I can tell you I was there this summer. We did this presentation, or this courtesy call, I should say, with the ambassador to Japan from Jamaica. And we had to do a Zoom call, and we rented this little conference room to set up with our kids, our NEET students, and our teachers, and then also some of our Japanese counterparts. And we set up the room and everything like that. We rented it, paid for it. And then after we finished and we set back the chairs and the desk and everything like that, the Japanese, and this is just this was expected, they took like a mop and broom and cleaned out the room. And you've seen this before, even in sports. I believe it was like the World Cup, like after Japan lost, they cleaned up the entire locker room pristine. Part of it's culture. It's culture. You go to Japan now, there's no garbage cans. It's the cleanest city, Tokyo is one of the cleanest cities I've ever been to. There's no garbage cans. You can't find a garbage can because everybody's putting their garbage in their pockets. They're taking it with them. It's just so common. Thank you for making that point, TDC Consultants.
Bunty says, Throp, I don't know why Jamaicans drop garbage on the ground or out of a car window. When foreigners do that in Canada, Canadians tell them to pick it up. Plus, you need more garbage bins in Jamaica. Agreed, even though that's counter to what happens in Japan. But I think the point you're also making with the Canadians, it's culture. It's culture. And that's what it comes down to. It's culture. And we have quite frankly, a poor culture when it comes to the environment. The Hood, do they still collect and bag up roadside rubbish on along Norman Manley Boulevard out to Green Island? Yes, like they used to. Yes, yes, they do. TDC says there is a dissonance there. Throw the trash outside and then consider yourself clean. Delusion. Fair point. Jewel Voss says that beach is healing. My mom had a stroke and feels that water would speed up her recovery. Absolutely, I agree with that. I think that would definitely do wonders. Punty says, Drop, what Jamaicans and the Jamaican government don't realize is that littering and pollution could change the quality of the unique water in Negril. They're taking it for granted. Well said. Grimes says, Jamaica must introduce the concepts of maintenance and aesthetics in her schools. The Jamaican psyche needs to be bombarded continuously by the global standards in those areas. Jamaica needs this. Absolutely agreed. TDC says, listen, we live in a world where the concept of Elysium is not far off. People are curating and reinventing experiences that really competes with the real thing. We should be mindful. TDC Consultants says, Throp, considering that you are based in Negril, can you say the type of business / developmental interjections for children, youth, adults, and seniors that you would think would make Negril thrive? Great question. I mean, one of the main things off the top of my head is after school programs. Keep in mind, many schools in Jamaica, especially here in Westmoreland and Hanover, are on a shift system. So the kids are only going to school for half the day. We don't have many after school programs here, virtually none. We don't have summer programs here, virtually none. And so, you know what idle hands do, right? And it's just so much time and so much of an opportunity wasted that our kids can be doing something constructive or learning, just have a much better use of their time. And I just remember, again, growing up as a kid, using myself as an example, my schedule was packed. I always had an after school club. I played sports. I was in Boy Scouts. I had jujitsu. I had run club before school, as a matter of fact. I had school. I had to study. I had homework to do. I was in a symphonic band and I was taking piano lessons, and I just had no time. I had no time to do stupid stuff, you know? And the I was lucky enough to go to football camp one summer, and a lot of these things are missing from these kids, for these kids, I would say. And it's just not really thought of, it's just like, whatever, it's Jamaica. That's what's spoiling. It's Negril. And so I think from a developmental standpoint, I think that is really, really needed. On the other side of that spectrum, talking about, mentioned for seniors, I was talking about this with another hotelier, and yeah, even nightlife for seniors. I think that is for the boomer generation. I mean, I think that is such a big part of the market that is being forgotten about. And I think if somebody focuses on that, especially for Negril, like you literally cater, like forget the young people on this one. Forget the young people. Do create an environment, create a restaurant or bar standalone that completely caters to that generation in every aspect, from the music type to the music volume to the lighting to the decor to the menu items, both food and drink. I think you'll do exceptional, and you market it and attract that demographic of people. I think you do exceptionally well. Let's keep going here. Know yourself, Sir Throp. Why don't Jamaica do a tax system like the Bahamas, where they have tourist payment majority of the country's taxes? I don't know much about that system, but there is I believe it's a $20 tax on every seat that comes into Jamaica that goes into the Tourism Enhancement Fund, which is one of the largest Jamaican government funds that there is. And so there is tax dollars being collected for tourism purposes, but it's not being spent in Negril. Thank you for that, Justin. Travelers to Rick's Cafe is 3.5 miles. Appreciate that. That's a lot of drinking going on in the pub crawl. Richard Williams says, yes, Throp is on point with morning walks along the beach. Love it. My favorite part of going to Negril. I was doing about 3 miles every morning. I encourage you, even if you're not a morning person, try it one time. If you're staying here in Negril, if you're staying on the beach, try it one time. It's hard to describe that feeling. Like and I don't get to do it often because I'm usually training. I'm usually training at that time. I'm training before the sun comes up. So the times that I do get to do it, it's like really special for me. And I would encourage anybody, if you're coming here this winter, choose one day, don't, do it on 4 hours of sleep. Oh, this is the worst idea I've ever had. Why'd I listen to Throp? No, go to bed at 9 o'clock, eat your dinner early, and get up at 5:30. I'm not sure what time the sun comes up during that time. I think it's actually pretty late. I think it's after 6 actually in December. But whatever time it is, go to bed early. Go to bed at 9 o'clock. We have coffee ready before the restaurant is open most mornings. Or if not, you have coffee in your room. You can get coffee in your room, make your coffee in your room before you come out, or your tea or whatever have you. Or don't have anything to drink. Just go for a walk. And it's one of the most peaceful times of the day. And the waves are already lapping during the day, but they're much calmer in the morning. Much calmer in the morning. And just go on your own little stroll. Be with your thoughts. No music. Just you, the beach, and the waves lapping. The hustlers aren't even awake, so nobody's going to come up to you and bother you. That's another beautiful part. Maybe that's why I like it so much. Not that they bother me anyway, but it is something really special. I think something really special about Negril doing that. All right, let's keep rolling here. Of course, we missed the hour mark as Jeff called, but we're going to be wrapping up here soon. Let's wrap up these comments and call it a night. TDC Consultant says, Negril seems like a great place to create a comprehensive bus, cycling, biking, and walking town. Do you think laying out businesses, restaurants, markets strategically would help create that vibe? Absolutely. And I think this is a great opportunity to bring up the map one more time. And so it's the best place in Jamaica to create that. So 2 things I'll mention here. So this is the shared user path here. So this is the Norman Manley Boulevard, the road. This is the shared walking, running, non-motorized motorcycle path that runs parallel to the beach. And from, let's call it South Negril River, let's call it from there approximately up to Couple Swept Away. It ends just about here. It's about 2 miles, 2 solid miles right there. This thing is supposed to go all the way, money earmarked, planned, everything. It's supposed to go all the way up to here, 7 miles. That's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to go all the way up to the second Rio. Now, especially going towards the downtown area, imagine to your point, TDC, imagine along here, it's just a continuation of bars, restaurants, hotels, all along that same path. The type of environment that you'd create. And also the community and lifestyle that you create, because 7 miles of running and walking path, like that is amazing. Central Park is 6.3 miles. either 6.3 or 6.6. I'm messing up. My point is, this is longer than that. I mean, what a great loop to have. And I'm obviously thinking very selfishly as a runner, but even as somebody traversing Negril on a bicycle instead of, hey, I want to go to this restaurant, people are getting bicycles to go to their restaurant. I think very, very important developmental aspect of creating that reality, which I think should be, from the standpoint of consensus, like this is a great idea, is this whole strip, that whole walkway, should be lined with shade creating trees, not palm trees, shade creating trees. That is going to do two things. That is going to cool the temperature of Negril, and then also it's going to increase and encourage and incentivize people to walk and to ride their bicycle. So much more. It's going to be great for commerce. It's going to be great for business. So I think, yes, I think that would help tremendously. It's going to also incentivize into innovation of having other businesses and restaurants come to Negril, because you're innately creating foot traffic. I mean, and that's one of the greatest things any business, especially any restaurant, will appreciate. Tim, I didn't even talk about my sponsors here. All right, we're gonna bring up our banner here. Got so much into this this Negril talk, forgot all about this, but that's okay. We'll do it while we close out here. All right, let's keep rolling here. Punty says, I saw the Japanese people pick up all the garbage in the World Cup stadium. It almost brought tears to my eyes. Canada is clean, but nowhere as clean as Japan. That's right. That's right. Cola says the environment, cleanliness is very important for attracting visitors. The schools here that have students volunteer to clean up, which is a part of the community service that is required in schools. Yep, great points. Jazzy Tower says, I was in Japan this past August. Hey, me too. Never saw any garbage. Never saw any garbage cans, but I did see a sign that says, take your garbage home with you. Culture. Joe Boss says, drop your hotel could use your hotel as a multi-purpose center for senior daycare. That's not the model that we're going for, but that's an idea. What's up, James? Good to see you, man. Brian says morning walks are it. Go early. Agreed. TDC consultant says curate a senior citizens experience at least once per week. Plays, movies, bingos, karaoke, food and drinks. Yes, I love those ideas. Justin D says, I stroll in the water in the early AM. Yes, I've seen you. I can attest to that. Excuse me. I hope you get a chance at some point to visit Cuba. It's close to being a failed state, if not already there. It makes me realize how good it is in Jamaica, as bad as it is. I went to Cuba, what was that, 09? Castro, I think 09 or 08, Castro was still in power. I'd love to go back. At some point. Live music bands, I love that. Agreed. I think, James, before you got here, we said we agreed that there is no Jets talk for the rest of the season. Thanks for letting me know. The Dolphins are beating the Jets. Mark says, hey, Throp, you can throw up a link again for the property, I believe, Treasure Beach. Not finding it in the comments. Got you. 1 second. This is talking about Treasure Bay Estates. Oh, here it is. Anybody can check it out. If you got any questions, please feel free to reach out, shoot them a message, give them a call. Sandy B says, tourists walk to Hilo from the beach to take a taxi back. Negril has a lot to offer. Agreed. TDC sort of like Panama City, Florida. A lovely trolley bus system. Agreed. That's a great idea. Great for cycling and walking with adequate business in between. Jeff says, I think we may hit the 2 hours mark. We're not hitting 2 hour mark. I promise. We're not hitting 2 hours mark. We're wrapping up right now. CKR says, runner here. Love to hit it early. Yes, very, very important to do that here, especially in Jamaica. Gets very hot. James says, I haven't been to Cuba yet. However, I'm getting to use my Jamaican passport over there. Yep. No issues there with your Jamaican passport. All right. And these are our sponsors for ThropX this year. Oh, I did want to say, bring some updates in ThropX. For those who bought their tickets, thank you so much. This has been what would I say? The last 2 weeks has been the most amount of tickets bought in a 2-week period, I would say. Incredible. We're well over the 50% mark. I gotta actually see where we are. But ticket sales are coming in hot and heavy. There's no doubt in my mind we're going to sell out this year because our peak selling season is October, and we haven't even hit October, and that's when we sell the most amount of tickets. And then most people will buy their daily tickets in November. I would encourage those who are thinking about the daily tickets to purchase. Don't wait till November, because the way sales are going, I wouldn't be surprised if some of those days are going to be sold out. So if you're thinking about buying, say, the Negril real estate tour or the Treasure Beach real estate tour or the real estate education day, do it sooner rather than later. Even if you're not coming for the whole week, I know some of those days are going to be sold out before November, just the way ticket sales are going. Very, very happy with the way sales are going. Unexpectedly, I really did not expect them to be going this fast. So thank you and appreciate everybody who has bought the tickets already. Whether it's some sort of day pass or virtual ticket, or you're coming for the full week, it's getting excited. We have another big ThropX meeting, collaborative meeting with the entire team tomorrow. So looking forward to talking about and planning ThropX. This is without question. This is going to be the best one yet. So it's going to be awesome. But these are our sponsors. These are our ThropX sponsors. These are all our hotel sponsors. Our water sponsor, Discovery Water, and most of these, as I have been saying, as our small hotels who are supporting this conference. Princess Hotel is the only large hotel and the largest hotel in Jamaica. So I appreciate each and every one of my sponsors for making this possible. Thank you. And as I always say, if you're not staying at Travelers, stay at one of these lovely places who support me and support what I'm doing and support this community. I encourage it. Let's wrap up these comments. Punty says, did the YouTube David's Been Here ever visit your hotel? No, I don't even know who that is. I'm gonna have to look that up. Screenshot that so I don't forget. Jeff Project says, I bet you a red stripe we hit 2 hours. No, we're leaving. We're leaving right now. This is the last comment. AG, just got here. Want to tell you how great you're doing. I'm in New York, family in St. James and St. Anne. Would love to come visit you guys someday. Would love that as well. We are putting on the bye-bye music right now. And I don't want to lose a red stripe to Jeff, even though I'd love to buy you one at some point in time, no matter what. Thank you all for joining this Monday live stream. Sorry we couldn't make it Sunday, but we'll be back on Thursday, which is our ThropX dedicated live stream. And look out for the roundtable that I was talking about earlier in the stream today. I'm not sure which day we're going to do it. We're going to try and hit it this week for sure. Everybody have a great week ahead. Appreciate everybody who made a donation. Jeff, thank you. Quantities, thank you very much. Appreciate you so much. Thank you. And shout outs to all my channel members. And I will see you all on Thursday. Everybody enjoy your week.
Throp here again. As you're probably hearing, Jamaica is on an unprecedented economical tear, and I know many people are interested to learn how they might be able to buy property in Jamaica, move here, or even start a business. Enter ThropX. This is my annual Jamaica investment conference hosted at Travelers Beach Resort in Negril, Jamaica. If you're even considering moving to or investing in Jamaica, this is the best low-risk opportunity to do your due diligence and network with the very people driving the country forward. This event brings together a group of hand-picked, trusted, top-of-their-field individuals, the best developers, contractors, real estate pros, lenders, and government partners, all under one roof to help you make your move. This is very much an action-focused premium conference experience geared towards empowering you with the tools and team necessary to create your Jamaica dream. We've partnered with the Tax Administration of Jamaica to help you get your TRN and even open a bank account, all conveniently located on conference property. One of the most popular parts of the conference is the real estate tour. It's the best way to understand Jamaica's real estate market, seeing and experiencing properties firsthand so you can compare apples to apples. Another incredibly valuable part of the conference is the people you will meet. Attendees have been some of the most dynamic, inspiring individuals I have met doing incredible things with their lives. As always, this year will be fun, educational, and actionable, giving you the tools, insights, and connections to invest, build, and move to Jamaica. For more information, please visit thropx.com and join our mailing list.